Hi, Mira. Welcome to ETRetail Summit. It's a pleasure to have you over here. As our Ivan said, that you need no introduction. So without giving an introduction about you, I would like to delve deeper into your investment journey, how it has been, what other brands you think are going to outshine. So I'm going to talk to you about each and everything, but one question at a time.
Thank you for having me.
So when it comes to brand building, so according to you, what are the secret ingredients that helps a brand to grow and for the founders to build the brand in the right way?
So firstly, thank you for having me. I have to say that when you all asked me to come here, more than me, I think my father will be very excited because the one thing that's been consistent and a constant on our breakfast table is the pink color newspaper, which is Economic Times. You know, when you're kids and you're trying to, do arts and crafts and you like baking and you need newspaper, you were never allowed to touch that pink paper. So till today, it comes to my house and I enjoy reading it every morning. So I'm really happy that I could come here. And to answer your question, as someone who is a consumer, my answer would be different. As someone who is an investor, my answer would be very different.
So, Meera, we would love you to delve into both the categories, value as an investor and as a consumer.
My journey as an investor obviously began as a consumer because I saw that, as a consumer, I am at the receiving end of all of these products. I have certain feelings. I feel like there is a gap. My needs are not being met. This is something that's extremely unique. I want more of this brand. I like its identity. I like its voice. And then as, my following in social media grew and the impact that you have on the person who's following you also grows, there is also a certain level of trust that is built between you and your follower. And I would never want to recommend something, a brand, a product, a service that I don't necessarily believe in myself. And that's where I found the gap, or rather the opportunity, to be able to be on the brand side of things, having such intimate access with several consumers like myself, and be able to build a consumer-focused brand that addresses those needs and those wants and those desires and also capitalizes on the, on the strengths of the brand or the product. And that's kind of where it began. So as an investor, what I would look for, number one is novelty. So novelty, not just in product or idea, it could also be in the way that that product is being, I wouldn't say marketed, but like you would take a vitamin, it's nothing new. Vitamin B, D, E, all of your essential minerals, there's nothing new. The moment you package it in a different way, is it slow release? Is it a melt? Is it something that you can take as an effervescent? That just becomes a new way, a new delivery mechanism of the same product. That's what would catch my eye. Does it make it easier in my life to consume the same product? So number one is obviously novelty. Number two would be scale. It would be unfortunate to have an extremely new, unique product if I cannot scale it and get it to the maximum number of people possible. And number three would be authenticity of the brand's voice in itself. If you're a Me Too, then there are so many other options out there. Is there something new? Do I connect with that brand? Do I connect with the vision of the founder, of the company, their values? So that's what I look at as an investor.
So what actually inspired you to become an angel investor?
So Charu, like I said, I noticed that there was an opportunity that I had with such intimate access to people and what they want, what they are seeking, and also what they really like. And so I was able to connect with various founders And rather than them saying, you know what, why don't you endorse this brand? Why don't you do some social media work for us? I said, you know what, why don't we work together? Why don't we think about how we can make this product more effective or this marketing strategy more fruitful? How do we make the voice of the brand more authentic? How can it be positioned as more genuine? And that's the reason why I decided to become an angel investor. And of course, there are times that you do it in terms of sweat equity, and there have been several times that I have put my own money in as well.
That's very nice. So which are the categories that are growing in India, and where the investor should invest at this point of time, according to you?
So I think investment is extremely personal. For example, people are talking so much about AI and deep tech, but I don't know it well enough to be able to invest my money in it. I need to understand it completely. So for me, of course, it's consumer brands, because as a consumer myself, and having the platform that I do, I'm able to understand a lot more about it. And I have made an effort because I enjoy that entire process as well. So for me, it's consumer brands. It is a brand that, it is a company or a product, a service that has a tangible impact on a consumer's life. So it is something that you put on, it's something that you eat, it's a service that you intimately interact with, like an app. So it really depends on what your interest is and where it lies. I think wellness is a big space. Because COVID taught us about health and how healthcare and health is extremely important, but wellness and well-being is the larger and longer game in the entire format of things. You need to stay well consistently. When you say prevention is better than cure, prevention is that wellness angle of it. And wellness is not just limited to physical wellness now, it extends to mental wellness, beauty in terms of how you feel, the way that you look, how that impacts you and your mental health as well. I think wellness and beauty are big spaces right now. And those are the spaces that I'm always very keenly looking at.
We have seen a spurt of brands entering the wellness and beauty space post-COVID. Lots of brands are making claims that they are doing this, they are doing that. But I mean, angel investors are spoiled for choices that way. Don't you think so?
It's true. I mean, there are so many decks that I have received myself. But like I said, as a consumer, maybe I can tell when something is authentic. I also, because I get so many of these decks to see, I know what's new and what isn't, what is white labeled and what's actually a new formulation. So you're right, people are, investors are spoiled for choice. But then you have to find, are you somebody who likes to back a founder and their vision? Are you someone who looks solely at the product? Are you someone who's only there for the returns and to see where your money is going at and when is your next exit? It really depends on what kind of an investor you are.
So you have been evaluating the brands and their products over the time. You must have seen a few new categories apart from wellness and beauty. I mean, these were the categories which came up during the COVID time. Which are the new categories that are going to attract the angel investors going ahead, maybe say 2 years from now?
One of the categories that I have seen that is really doing well, or rather is getting a lot of attention, is the fact that we are now human. There is a, humanization of pets, where pets are now a part of your family. And the entire industry that focuses around pets, so where the pet products, clothing, food, Heads Up for Tails has grown so well, and my first internship ever was with Heads Up for Tails. And
that is something new, we are getting to know about it.
Yeah, so my first internship ever was with Heads Up for Tails, and I was making cold calls because at that time they had a subscription box. And we had like a list of clients, And I had to call them up and say, would you like to subscribe for the subscription box? Every month we're going to send you something personalized. And that was Rashi, the founder. She, she was way ahead of the curve, as you can see now. Heads Up for Tails is one of the largest, most famous and, solid pet care, pet supply company that's come out of India. And she was ahead of the curve when she thought about subscription boxes. So I think pets and everything to do with pets has really picked up. I'm also seeing that people are really, I mean founders, I don't mean consumers. There are a lot of founders who are looking into education. So apps or educational toys, boxes that cater to your children, and I think it's probably come out of those 2 years when children were at home. So those would be the two.
Okay. So one more thing. I think should investor look into it, the plans of the brands? I mean, they have products, they have services. Should they look into it? Is the brand going to touch the the consumer in the omni-channel way across all the touch points?
Of course, because how else are you going to scale robustly? If it's only going to be D2C and you're going to be stuck with one website, wouldn't it be smarter to have a marketplace and to also have app-based shopping, to have brick and mortar, to be in multi, like not just a department store, but, to have unique touch points in, say, like a bigger shop where there are multiple different brands. So, of course, I think that's the only way that you can really scale.
So as it is a technology summit, retail technology. So I am going to ask one thing about you. What are your thoughts about metaverse? How should brands go about launching their brands in the metaverse?
The metaverse is actually polarizing. There are some people who are looking at it, and it's not just because you're fond of it, but if brands like Nike and big luxury brands as well are investing in the metaverse, you tend to think, right, I'm sure there's something there. There has to be something there. Why else are they pumping in so much money? I think time will tell, but I live in the real world. I want real products. So for me, I would say there's still a little time for me to accept the metaverse. But if it comes, well, we'll see.
The touch and feel matters a lot for you.
A lot. A lot. What will happen to beauty brands if there's a metaverse?
Experiential, AI.
How am I supposed to see how a lipstick actually looks on my face?
AI is actually helping in this thing.
But the light that they might have configured for their app would be very different to the way the light looks in Mumbai in the middle of May.
So you are an offline person that way.
Completely.
So when we talk about the future of the investment, we talk about the dry winter period with winter spell which is going on. So what are your thoughts upon that? And do you think this winter spell is going to end soon? And how is it going to shape up?
Well, I don't see in my immediate surroundings, maybe because you've had so many interactions, I'm sure there would be one. There's always a reason for a sale. I mean, I have never seen so many sales as I've seen in the last 3 years, like Valentine's Day sale, Mother's Day sale, Independence Day sale, pre-Diwali, and then all of the local festivals that used to be limited to states have now become bigger. There's always a reason to, to shop. As a consumer, there's always a reason to shop, and I think especially with the influencer industry, you're seeing newer products every day that you may not have discovered. And when you were speaking about omni-channel, I think the influencer industry is a large part of smaller brands being able to reach consumers. But if there is a dry spell, I think everyone here would be better equipped to answer the question.
Does anyone want to answer about the dry spell? They are well funded, it seems like. Thank you so much, Mira, for joining us today. It was a pleasure to have you.
Thank you for having me.
Any closing notes that you love to give?
I'd just like to say I'm really happy to be here. It's been a great conversation. And I really hope to engage with many more founders with whom my values align and our view towards consumer products might align in the future.
We wish you all the best for that.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.